Monster made a comment which would be bullish for Tesla. The AI bull market is just beginning. Most investors believe we are already in an AI bubble, given that Nvidia stock is up 103% over the last 3 months and 298% over the past year. By contrast, the Nasdaq is up 14% over the last 3 months and up 42% over the past year. Most of the one-year performance can be attributed to progress made against inflation, impacting interest rate expectations. In other words, outside of a handful of chip stocks, the AI bull market has yet to begin, and Tesla is likely to be included in that. I believe we are in front of a 3 to 5 year bull market that will end in a spectacular bubble burst. When bubbles burst, it's incredibly bad for companies that are not making much money but have high valuations. So if Tesla makes a lot of money, if the stock drops later during a bubble burst, it would be a buying opportunity. It would not be something to worry about. I saw Gary made a comment just now saying that he thinks that Tesla stock looks really cheap going forward, but basically he's not buying more Tesla stock. He actually sold some, because he thinks that the estimates are going to go lower, and when the estimates of the earnings and deliveries go lower, the stock in the short term often follows that. So to me, it doesn't sound like in the long term Gary Black is losing confidence in Tesla stock. He's just not happy what's happening in the short term mostly. And him being a fund manager, he has to respond to these short-term expectations. Elon responded with 100% to this post. I repeat, when the team executes on building the everything app, Elon's $44 billion purchase of X will be the bargain of the decade. A lot of Cybertrucks were spotted today at Giga, Texas, over 100 Cybertrucks. It is the most Cybertrucks we have seen yet in this lot. Giga Texas is starting to look like Windows XP lag screen. Let's talk about Rivian's new products. They unveiled the R2, their next generation smaller and lower cost vehicle. There was also another vehicle unveiled. It's important to pay attention to Rivian here because it is going to try to basically directly compete against Tesla. Now, the interesting part about this particular car is that the front seats actually fold. That's pretty cool. Now, Rivian says that R2 deliveries will start in the first half of 2026. So by the time Rivian R2 ships, Tesla's next generation vehicle will be out and the Model Y will be refreshed. The car to me looks pretty interesting. It reminds me a little bit of Range Rover. It just looks like someone like Tesla stepped on it and that made it a bit shorter, but I personally I like the design. I think the car looks good. The R2 is supposed to start at about $45,000 and every single trim is supposed to be over 300 miles of range. Because the Rivian vehicle is so boxy, it almost seems like it's maybe a bit bigger than the Model Y from the outside. But the R2 is actually 1.5 inches shorter than the Model Y. Rivian also says their R2 battery is a structural battery pack that uses 4695 cells. But not everything is looking exactly great for Rivian. Rivian has announced that they are halting construction on their Georgia auto plant to save $2.25 billion. Rivian plans to start production of R2 in its existing Illinois manufacturing facility. And that factory is actually a $5 billion EV plant. After RJ, the CEO of Rivian, presented the R2, their new vehicle, he said, there is one more thing. And then they rolled out this new vehicle, R3, which is substantially smaller. I'm not sure why, but this reminds me of a Volkswagen Golf a little bit. These two new vehicles are both built on the same platform, just like the Model 3 and the Model Y are built on the same platform. Sandy Monroe's wife talked to RJ and she says that the Georgia plant will not be halted. The R2 will be launched in Illinois to expedite production, and most likely the newly revealed R3, the smaller and even smaller vehicle, would launch from the Georgia factory in 2026 or later when the plant is ready. But based on the SEC filing, Drive Tesla Canada writes, as for when construction will resume, Rivian only said it would be later, allowing them to focus its team on the capital-efficient launch of the R2. the new small vehicle, but not the even smaller vehicle, which, as previously mentioned, still start deliveries in 2026. Anyway, by the time Rivian starts deliveries of the Model Y competitor, Tesla by then should have released the next generation vehicle.